Hello and welcome everyone to the Magical Witchy World TV. As usual, I am Star Ravenhawk.
And I am Rhonda Allen. Welcome back this week. And our special guest.
Can't wait.
Welcome, Byron.
Yay!
Welcome, Byron. Welcome to Magical Witchy World TV.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Excited to
Absolutely.
have
Couldn't wait.
you.
Couldn't wait. Yeah.
It's
So,
wonderful to think about ending this very long month by hanging out with the two of you. Thank you
thank
for that.
you.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
you. We're
Yes.
excited.
Yeah.
So, as we like to do every time with every guest, we'd like to introduce you to our uh, I don't want to say attendees, but those who are
Our
watching,
audience. Our
our
audience.
audience. And let me go through your bio. H. Byron Ballard, Bachelor's of Art, Master's of Fine Arts, is a native of Western North Carolina. She is a writer, amateur folklorist with a specialty in Appalachian folk magic and healing. She tours extensively in the US and Great Britain. Her books include four on mountain folk magic. The first was Stobbs and Ditchwater, and the most recent in 2025 is A Feral Church. She lives in Asheville, North Carolina. Yay! Excited. And
Yes.
we will be streaming your website, avillagewitch.com, throughout the course of our conversation tonight. But welcome. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
yes,
Oh,
yes. We've been looking
thank
so
you
forward
all
to
so
this
much.
conversation. So looking forward to this. So, as per usual, the questions are pretty regular because it's based on off of the person that we have with us. So it's just that it's very generic, and it's just asking you about you. Okay. So one of the first questions we ask is, over the years, and we know, I think you know what I mean. Over the years, you kind of you referring to yourself, not others, but you kind of refer to yourself as different things from where you began to where you are now, and you kind of evolve based on that, where you started and where you end up as to what you're calling yourself. So we would love to hear some of that, the arc that you took and what you call yourself or refer to yourself as now.
How much time do we have?
All
Um,
the time we need.
I, I'm one of those people who is blessed to be able to say that I have been an out witch for my whole life.
Oh wow, that is
Yeah.
awesome.
That is
So
That
fabulous.
is awesome.
I grew up, as we say in the South, I grew up unchurched, which
Mhm.
meant that my parents had some kind of thing with the preacher at their Methodist church, and they left the church
Huh.
Okay.
and never found another church home, as we describe it. So I grew up, never been baptized, and like a lot of people in our communities
Mm.
are converts from
Okay.
another religion. So they find earth-based religions or Wicca or whatever. They find that path a little bit later in life. But I've been
Mhm.
really fortunate. I have to tell you the story in when I was a sophomore, I think, in high school. A good friend of mine, whose birthday actually is today,
Oh,
Oh.
wrote
okay.
he wrote in my yearbook, to the communist witch who's the head of the mafia.
Oh my
I should
god.
not have been drinking at that time. I almost choked.
That is fabulous.
That is awesome.
Oh my god.
So I'd use that word as a descriptor. And then because I didn't have a religion per se, when I got to college, I was in like an encounter group.
Okay.
And at that point, I became a Wiccan.
Mhm.
And so I'm also, in addition to being a witch, which is my practice, my religion is that I'm an animist too, but I am a priestess and then became 10 years later, I guess, became a high priestess. So I balance my folkloric practice of witchcraft
Mhm.
with my religious practice of being an animist. And I mean, I technically I'm still a Wiccan, but I think my whole process has changed
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
intervening 40 years,
Right.
so that it's
Right.
I know, and probably it's
Yeah. That's
true
the arc.
for both of you that the farther you go, the simpler things get.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that we used to have this
Yes.
arsenal of tools that we used, and now I just have a handful of tools, and
Yeah.
mostly my tools are right here. My
Right. Right.
heart, my hand, my
And just
brain.
evolve. I think it's just evolving. It's just
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
Exactly so.
you know. I
Um,
take that arc, and you kind of sit there going, whatever it is. Okay, go ahead, Rhonda.
right. So you've introduced us a little bit to the next question, which is what brought you to this world. So I'll expand that question a little bit to say, what was it that caused you or brought you to that realization or understanding that this is a practice that aligns with your beliefs?
Yeah.
I grew up in West Bygod, Buncombe County, North Carolina, uh, at the head of a cove. And so I spent my early life, for the first 18 years, I
Mm-hmm.
lived mostly outside. I was hiking and walking, and we had ponies and dogs and cats and a cow, and we had a jackass for a while. Um, so, uh, so nature has always been home for me,
Mm,
and 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 when I looked for a way to find the divine, to find God is the way I would have called it years ago.
yes.
It was always with trees and streams of water and soil and all of that. My whole life
Yeah.
that was what was important. And I was blessed to have a mother who said that religion was just it was unimportant, that as long as she, and I remember she pointed out the back door, the kitchen door, to the
Mm-hmm.
woods, because we were surrounded by woods, and she said, you could worship that oak tree out there, and as long as it made you a good human being, that's all that counts. As long as you
Wow.
took care of your neighbor and took
Yeah.
care of your family, that's all that really mattered. I don't think she understood that I probably literally would start worshiping oak trees,
Right.
but
Right.
yeah, it was a freedom that I had to do and to learn and to explore
Right.
and
That
to
is
really be one with that.
yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome. Actually,
That
it sounds very profound what she even told you, a very wise
Yeah.
precisely.
kind of a
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
because the way you went with it. Okay. So the question I wanted to ask you is, from your point of view, not anyone else's again, what does it mean to be a witch?
Hmm. To be a witch is to be someone who has the forces of the universe at her fingertips.
Mm,
To be a witch is to be conscious of the world around you, to be curious and observant, and to be willing to change the physicality around you with the force of your will to make the world what you need for it to be. Now, in my case, I want it to be a better world, but I think that energy that we talk about so often, the thing I say when I'm teaching about it is I say energy is neither good nor bad. So
Right.
if you use energy in the morning to make some toast, that's good. But if you put a fork in a light socket, it will toast your ass.
yeah.
So,
Different type of
so
toast.
it's all your intention,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that's all of it. But you have to be willing to be humble, to learn from the world around you and from people around you, and
Right.
to be able to be settled into yourself and to know who you are. That's kind of
Absolutely.
Exactly.
long-winded, but
No, no,
No,
no.
that's
It's
important.
actually very well said, and to me, very succinct. You said a lot, honestly.
Right. And I think that makes it easier
Yes.
for those who are perhaps new to this work or perhaps coming to it. It's a very succinct definition. And
Yep.
that is appreciated, truly. That's appreciated.
Yeah.
So how, you know, how is magic now a part of your daily practice? How is it a part of your day?
because I do it all the
You know,
time.
it's like it's
Yeah,
just what you
and
do.
and yeah, and And when I'm teaching, I've got a class called Simple Practical Magic, and
Mhm,
it's the
mhm.
building blocks, the stepping stones, grounding, shielding, harvesting energy, let that energy going through you so you're not using your life force to make magic. And
Yes.
I use it often. I use it, uh, and I tell people pick something you really need.
Yeah.
So I live in a tourist town, and if I'm going downtown, I'm going to need parking. And
Okay.
Right.
so
Yes.
early on, I perfected a parking spell. So rather than figuring out some esoteric, oh, if only I could call forth a demon who would do blah, 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 go, why don't you
Right.
figure out what you actually need? And
Yes.
if you need to be able to find a job, if you need to be able to find housing,
Yes.
parking space, figure out the basics, because once you can master that, then
Yes.
you really can do just about anything.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
A-
Absolutely.
And yet again, bringing it back to something people can, it's digestible, if people can understand it, and we're not sitting in the, not that there's anything wrong with it. It's the magic that you can absolutely apply. As you said,
Yeah.
Right.
it's
Right.
it's
Exactly.
practical. It's
Exactly.
practical magic.
In
And
other
and
Fabulous.
words,
I like to say that Terry Pratchett, the author,
Mhm.
knew more about the actual workings of magic than a lot of people who write about it, because he
right.
understood that it was about this deep and abiding connection, and
Yes.
through the webs of that connection is how we accomplish what we accomplish.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
Okay. So, in a way, I'm kind of segueing a little bit to if you can tell us a little bit about what's become very important to you in this world, this witchy world of ours.
Hmm.
Mm.
Community, building community, tending community,
Mhm.
period. I mean, I do a lot of other
Ah,
things too, but
Yeah.
community building, figuring out how you actually come into relationship with other human beings who live around you.
Right.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
Because so often we have this broad ranging community, and we see each other at festivals and cons, and that's lovely. But if my car won't start, I can't call Rhonda and say, would you come and jump off my car? Because you
Right.
live
Right.
too far away. So
Right.
you have to
Right.
have relationships not only within your inter or intra religious group, which
Hmm.
is really vitally important, but you need to
Mhm.
know the people around you, because they are the people in
Yes.
that kind of old fashioned sense of what neighborhoods are like.
Right.
Those
Yes.
are the people who can actually interact with you in a way that, I got too much zucchini, you got too many tomatoes. And we
Right.
come
We
together and we make
Yep.
this really wonderful meal together.
Absolutely.
Precisely
Absolutely.
so. And
And we're
that
going to need that. That's something you're going to need going forward, I believe.
absolutely,
Oh,
that
absolutely.
huge right now in the times
Yeah.
that we're living in,
Yeah.
Yeah.
community, which is really the question that we have next on our list is really, let's talk about community and our and the relationship to community and the particular work. So considering, what we have going on in the world, what have you, um, anything in particular that stands out, any particular need? I can just say I saw your attending to the needs of your community after the floods and the crazy
Right. We've
rains
had
that came through.
5 months of that now.
Yes.
Wow.
So
Yes.
share some more, if you would, about your work in community and anything in particular that is really standing out for you in at this moment.
Well, I'm one of the founders of Mother Grove Goddess Temple here.
Mhm.
And we didn't have any intentions at all of being a relief hub for the hurricane victims, but
Mm-hmm.
it was something that came to us and we needed to do that. So after 5 months, we're now segueing back to being a goddess temple with a
Wow.
food pantry, and we have cleaning supplies and all that we regularly give away. But
Mm-hmm.
we have um, we have sent out about 2,500, no, $20,000 in
Wow.
direct aid to people who need it, and
That's
we have
Wow.
sent
fabulous.
out and we've sent out food and heaters and water. We've done all of that out of a tiny little chapel in downtown Asheville.
Mm.
But but the
Nice.
thing that is most important to me that this 5 months has proved
Mhm.
is that each one of us has to stand in our own authority and our own power.
Yes.
And we have to move past this surface level of anxiety and fear and fury. I was so furious today. So, I mean,
Mhm.
just blindly furious.
I know
But
that feeling.
Yeah.
but deep inside, for all of us, deep inside is the self, the
Yeah.
sacred self that we know endures.
Yes.
And and it is vitally important that all of us remember that person.
Yeah.
Remember the she that is we,
Yeah.
Yes.
and to stand in our power and authority and be as unyielding as we
Right.
can while wielding that power.
Right.
And
Right.
and something I have been using for about a year is that this is how power has to move now. We've
Yeah.
been
Mm.
living in top down systems for 6,000 years.
Yeah.
They're efficient. They're
It's
very efficient, but they don't
Mhm.
serve anybody. They don't even serve the people on the top of that pyramid. They don't
right.
Yeah.
serve anybody. So here's how, in my world, power has to run.
Mhm.
Power starts here in your heart,
Yes.
and then from your heart to your hearth, from your hearth to your neighborhood, from your
Mm.
neighborhood to your town, from town to county, from county to state, from state to region, from region to
Yes.
nation, and
Yeah.
from nation to world. And that's how power has to run from now on.
Yes.
Right. Right.
It
Now,
can no longer be top down. No
that
Right.
more. No more.
what I'm hearing then is personal ownership,
Right.
individual ownership. People have to recognize, empower themselves, no longer
And
feel
be
as
their
though they
own,
are
be their
powerless.
own authentic selves, please.
Yes.
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 And know that
And
they
Please.
can cause change.
yes, and it's the balance of authority and responsibility. And those
Right.
Yes.
are the two pieces. Because what
Yes.
we've seen for a long time is power with authority, what Rayon Eisler calls power over.
Right.
And what we have
Mm.
to do now is to take on also the responsibility. So if I am, as both of you are, if we are the most powerful beings in the universe, which we are,
Yes.
how do we wield that in such a way that it not only creates and tends community, it
Mm.
grows community because we take responsibility for
Right.
community.
And
Yes.
accountability for what we're
Yes.
Yeah,
doing. And what we, yes.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
big deal. That's a big deal,
Huge.
which we're not seeing at all
Huge.
very much. And it's a great segue to the next question, which
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
what would you like to see us as witches accomplish in our communities, in our lives, whatever? What is it that you think we need to accomplish?
I would like to see us accomplish uh, the final fall of what we call patriarchal systems. I
Mhm.
want us to finally take those systems down, but we can't leave a vacuum.
No.
That's a in 2018. I wrote a book called um, "Ceremonies in Tower Time: Earthworks,
Yes.
Ceremonies in Tower Time," and in that I talk about the importance of having new dynamic systems in place
Yes.
because again and again these top-down systems have imploded and collapsed, and
Right.
Mhm.
because we didn't really understand a better way to do it, we just built another one. So
Yes.
it's important for us to understand interpersonal dynamics, cultural dynamics, intercultural and intracultural dynamics,
Yeah.
so
Yes.
that when we create these circles of people, so we create a circle like this,
Mhm.
and then
Mhm.
Rhonda, you create a circle, and then Star, you create a circle, and then we link those circles together,
Right.
Yes.
and they become chain mail,
That's
Right.
which
it.
is hard to penetrate and
Yes.
Right.
is very durable.
Right, right,
But we have to set that stuff in motion now. We have
right,
to look at ideas of mutual aid. What does
right.
mutual aid look like? Well, it looks like what I talked about earlier, that my car won't start, and so I text Rhonda and go, "Would you come drop my car off?"
Right.
And
Right.
and I'm having a bad month because I had a big payment for something, and we're kind of hungry at my house. And so Star comes over and she brings me a big old casserole.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's the
Yes.
kind of stuff we have to remember that our ancestors did.
Yeah.
That they looked out for
Absolutely.
each other.
Absolutely.
I was not here
Because
or alive during the time of the Depression, the Great Depression, but I heard from people, I meet people like that at therapy who have been around a long time, and they said the way that they survived was each neighbor providing one form of a particular food and they all sharing it with each other, and that's how
yeah,
they were able to keep eating,
That's it.
sharing
That's
the
yeah,
it.
foods that they had because they each did not have certain things, so they collaborated with each other and shared what they had,
That's
and
right.
that way they were able to have meals.
That's
Without
it.
that sharing, they would not have survived.
It's
because the concept of community is something that the pagan heathen earth religions community, we don't we don't necessarily get that.
mhm.
Because
Yeah,
yeah, we got an online presence, and I got this many thousand followers doing whatever.
Yes.
But
Yes.
the reality of real community is that we look after and out for each other,
each
and we
other.
do that
Yes.
from a place of some humility.
Right,
Yes.
That I don't know what you need. I need to listen to you.
right,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
When you're in a hard place, I need to be able to say, so how can I
How can
support
I
you
help? Right,
right now?
right.
How can I
And
help you?
listen to them answer you. Don't presume, don't assume.
Right.
Listen.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
the only way you can help them is if you listen to what they actually want.
yeah.
They did that without thought back in the Great Depression. So maybe in a way, the need caused them to realize that this is what they had to do. Causation.
We may find
And
ourselves addressing some of those needs, who
Yeah.
knows
What
what's
yeah,
to come. But the point, that message about how do we within the pagan, heathen, which however you want to identify yourself as,
that
this whole
thing.
umbrella, this thing, how do we then find ways to build that chain mail? How do we
Yeah,
find ways to connect each other in the larger community? How do we
right,
find ways to do that? That is a great question, and
right.
we need to figure out.
And
Yeah.
well, we have to talk to each other. We have to listen
Yep.
to each other.
Yep. Yep.
During the late '90s in our community, we went through the witch wars that a lot of communities
Yes.
went through.
Yes,
Oh
I
my
remember
God,
that. It was
Yep.
so
horrific. So
it just
Yep.
we,
Horrible.
yeah, and
yeah, it was horrible.
it made an awful lot of people become Unitarian Universalists. Just to be
Yes.
honest,
Or it
they
made a
were like,
lot of people become solitaries.
yeah,
The
yeah, I can't do
largest
that anymore. Too
tradition,
terrible.
it actually began what I call the largest tradition of witches, which is solitary,
Hmm.
literally,
Because
because they couldn't handle the community anymore and what they had become or grown into
yes,
because there
yes.
was so many witch wars because of all the egos playing out and all the other things going on that you watched it happen and you're like,
Yep.
okay, I
Yep.
couldn't
Well,
blame them.
what happened in our community is that we called a series of 3 meetings.
Hmm.
And the first meeting was like planning the Montague Capulet wedding from Romeo and Juliet. So
Wow. Oh
these
my
people
gosh.
couldn't sit together, and these people couldn't sit opposite each other in the circle. And so we just kept moving the little pieces
Yes.
of paper around. We came together, and what
Yes.
really it all boiled down to is that we could not worship together. So the Gardnerians didn't want to worship with the Santeria people, and
Right.
the Dianics didn't want to worship with the Alexandrians. I mean, it was just because our
Yeah.
worship
None
systems
of it
were,
makes any sense,
no, it doesn't.
in a
But
way.
what we could, but what we could do when we couldn't worship together is that we could do projects together.
Yes.
So we have a group called Coalition of Earth Religions that has a pagans night out once a month, and we adopted a street and we adopted a
Wow.
stream so that we could work together but we
Yes.
couldn't necessarily
Nice.
worship together. And then we could get to know each other.
Right.
That's a
That's
great
fabulous.
solution. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's the work we need to be continuing right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Because something's got to give, because
Yeah. We,
it's,
we're all at a place where we really truly do need to recognize that we need each other. We
yeah.
do need each other.
And
And
how scary is that?
yes, how
Yeah.
Scary.
scary to know that I might need you or need your help or need your support. And to be available to someone else if they need me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
so tell us, I know that's a very, very heavy topic, but branching into another pathway here in our conversation, tell us a bit about the projects you have. What projects do you have coming up or things that you're thinking about doing this year?
Well, I'm going to do some touring this year. I've been touring for about 10 years to different places. I'll be going to Pagan Unity Fest in Starwood and
Oh my gosh.
maybe Mystic South. I haven't heard yet if my stuff has been accepted. And then on
Okay.
down the line. So I'll be touring off and on all year. Plus,
Yes.
as you mentioned earlier, I have a new book that just came out. Well,
Yes.
January. So I'm doing a lot of I'm doing book
Yes.
tours. And
Congratulations,
yeah,
though.
thank you. Thank you.
It's nice.
Yeah, so I'm doing all that and I'm growing a garden. I'm That's the joy of my life is being in the soil. And tomorrow is the 1st of March, and
Yes.
I'm gonna plant my peas because
Oh,
I
nice.
can do that here.
Fabulous
Yeah,
in your
planting my
zone.
I wish
Yes,
we
peas.
could
because
get you
you're in
down
North
here to New
Carolina.
York for Witches Fest, but I don't know. We will try to see what we can do.
Oh, I would. I read about that every year and see the videos that come out. So yeah, my husband's family are people they're on Long Island.
Oh,
Long
nice.
Oh,
Island.
Nice,
Long
Yeah.
nice.
Island.
So
That's
Yeah.
my old home.
yeah.
That's where where I'm from. My family's from Brooklyn. I was the only one born in Long Island. But
Well,
anyway.
his family did that great Italian migration of the Bronx
Oh,
to Brooklyn to Long
to Long
Island in the
Island.
60s.
Yes,
Yeah.
there you go.
Awesome.
There you go. Yeah, my family did the Brooklyn to Long Island in the 60s also.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where you
My,
paid
my family did not.
$4,500 for a house.
Yes. Yes.
My family is still in Canada. I'm the only one, and my cousin that are in the United States. Everybody is still in.
Wow.
I was literally traveling across Europe, and as I was coming back, New York was supposed to be my last stop, and then I was heading home to Canada, and I
Mhm.
met my husband here in New York, and we got married, and the rest is history.
The rest is
Wow.
history.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Ah, I
So
didn't know that part of the story.
yeah,
That's so
that's what made
awesome.
me stop. Otherwise, I would have been back home in
See?
Toronto.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
They're thinking of going back to Toronto now. It's kind of hard
It's
being American these days.
Mm,
it's kind of it's something I've been thinking about, but I'm not sure because it would be, despite the fact that I'm Canadian, my years of all the things that I forged and created have been here. So
yeah.
for me to go back to Toronto, it would be like I'm starting from scratch all over again with everything.
Mhm.
And I'm at my age. I'm like, I don't really want to start from scratch.
Mm-mm.
So I am
Understood.
here. So we shall see.
Understood.
But
That's
but
fair.
I am Canadian to the core.
Yes.
But I'm like I am Canadian to the core, and I'm with my people. Whatever they decide, I am with them because I'm not even going to say anymore because I don't want to make it political. So we'll go from there because I'm like ready to.
Yeah.
Heard.
Anyway, okay. So, what events are you? I know you mentioned some of the events that you possibly might be doing because you're doing some touring. And I think any other events that you want to mention that you have coming up and would be at as yet or not?
Well, I will be in Wilmington, North Carolina, next Thursday to do
Mhm.
a book event with Front Street Books, but it's going to be
Okay.
in a pub. So I've never done a book
Interesting.
event in a pub. So that'll
Okay.
be fun.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
next
That'll be a
Thursday.
lot of
great.
fun.
So
Yeah,
anybody that's in that area, hopefully they can attend or meet up with you,
that'd be
have
Yes.
great.
and all of
Yeah.
that. So that would be
And
Come
you'll
great.
buy
have
me a beer.
I was
Yeah,
just
see,
gonna
there you go.
say
There you go.
it makes for an interesting conversation
Absolutely.
environment.
Absolutely.
Man, I cannot tell you how much we appreciate you joining us. Thank you
Yes.
so
So
much.
much. Yes.
We've been streaming your website, real, and of course, whether people are watching live or they're watching the playback. Again, it's been a absolute pleasure having you. Thank
It
you so much,
has.
Byron.
Thank you
Thank,
both so much.
thank you. And now let me just pop this down. We're going to take a short break and introduce you all to the other shows here at Magical Witchy World TV.
All right, everyone, we are back with the astrology and
Yes.
what we're doing this now is your March horoscope. And
Yes.
for March, it says this will be the most life-changing month of 2025. Oh dear goddess. I thought we
Amazing.
already went through a whole bunch of
Yeah,
life-changing things already.
we had a
I
lot
mean,
of things going on.
okay,
Right.
and then to hear that it's going to be the most life-changing month coming up, I'm like,
It's like, what
don't
do
want
I
any
need more
more.
challenges? Right, right.
I'm
But
beginning to whine, and I don't usually whine, and I'm whining right now. Okay, so
wow.
everything will look very different by April. Very, very different. So the month begins of March, that is, of 2025, begins in soft and sensitive Pisces season, meaning everyone is going to be neck deep in a fantasy world of feelings. However, for your
Yes.
March 2025 horoscope, for each zodiac sign, it's also packed with trailblazing Aries energy that'll fill our spirits with firepower. And that's a good thing because the astrology of March is filled to the brim with powerful and path shifting planetary movements that'll help
Mm.
shape the course of things for months or years to come. Actually, a full decade. Just saying.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that's, it all starts with Venus retrograde in Aries on March 1st, a transit that'll have the lower planet moving that lover planet moving in reverse for about 6 weeks. So prepare to dive deep into your relationships, your health, um, uh, your any kind of habits and values in general, and let go of any concerns about what others may think of your preferences. This is all about you now. On
Mm-hmm.
March 3rd, chatty planet Mercury enters Aries as well, making everyone headstrong and hasty in how they think and communicate. Aries' ambitious ruler Mars makes a lucky trine aspect to the Sun on March 7th. So this week is a fabulous time to pursue whatever you're passionate about, okay? Soon after the Sun's motivating alliance with Mars, it'll align with down to business planet Saturn in Pisces on March 12th, inspiring everyone to buckle down and commit to turning their creative visions into reality. You're going to have to, okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This grounding and galvanizing energy is useful once the lunar eclipse in Virgo hits on March 14th, as this highly charged full moon forces you to use your intuition in addition to your intellect and be less critical of your mistakes. Because again, you are human, it is expected.
Mm-hmm.
Cut yourself some slack, especially since Mercury will retrograde kicks off the day after the eclipse. So mental energy is slowing down and miscommunications become much more prevalent. So the start of Aries season coincides with the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, and this special cosmic event will occur on March 20th. Aries' zealous and spirited energy boosts everyone's desire to lead and blaze new trails. And the first week of the season is especially exciting. That's because the Sun in Aries immediately forms back to back Casimires. aligning with Venus on March 22nd and Mercury on March 24th. And these alignments will offer everyone an opportunity to tap into some of the lessons they've learned since these two retrograde began. Both Venus and Mercury will kind of moonwalk back into Pisces on
Hmm.
March 27th and 29th, respectively, so the Casimis serve as the helpful check in point before the retrograde vibes start to shift.
Hmm.
Venus retrograde begins on March 1st and Mercury begins on March 14th, the same day as that total lunar eclipse that we mentioned in Virgo. Then the month kind of wraps up with a fiery bang because Aries style as a solar eclipse rises in this red hot
Hmm.
cardinal signs realm on March 29th. This will be the last eclipse to take place in Aries for more than half a decade.
Wow.
So it's giving you a last push forward to embrace that newfound independence that you've developed over the past couple of years. The following day, intuitive planet Neptune makes a monumental move when it shifts from Pisces to Aries, switching signs for the first time since 2011 and kicking off a new rotation through the zodiac, while Neptune will briefly retrograde back into Pisces on October 22nd. And this ingress indicates a fresh start for this elusive blue planet, one
Hmm.
that will likely inspire us to take a much more active role in our spiritual practices and intuitive desires.
Lots of work in March. We thought you know, February was all about love.
Yes.
March,
Oh
digging
boy.
into a lot of
Lots
work.
of stuff.
So,
Yes.
yes, the March 2025 monthly horoscope for each zodiac sign according to your sun sign and or rising sign. And we are starting with Aries. Your March horoscope says this is the beginning of a brand new era. Aries season is bringing the firepower. All right, Aries. The
I
month
know, right? That'll
begins.
be me. That'll be me.
That's
I'm
it.
I'm a,
Here we
I'm a bit of
go.
both. Go ahead.
It's all good. It's all you. So, Aries. The month begins with love planet Venus kicking off its retrograde in your sign, sending you on an introspective journey that'll allow you to refine your values and understand your role in relationships more clearly. And that's only just the beginning. Excuse me. Your Aries horoscope for March 2025 is packed with some of the most monumental moments of the year, and not just because it's your birthday season. The month begins with love planet Venus kicking off the retrograde in your sign, sending you. Oh, wait, we already told you that. The introspective journey that'll allow you to refine your values. Then communicative Mercury hits your sign 2 days later, so use its intellectual influence to put your ideas into words. Okay, ideas into words. These two personal planets will cross paths with one another a week later, making the whole second week of March an especially helpful time to talk through your feelings and express your needs to partners more eloquently. All right. The lunar eclipse that you've been mentioning on March 14th for you guys, for Aries, it offers you a fresh perspective on your daily routine, shaking you out of your usual means of time management and pushing you toward a more fluid approach. Life is unpredictable, so flexibility is an invaluable skill. The following day, so March 15th, Mercury joins the retrograde brigade in your sign, forcing you to rethink your current trajectory and communication style over the coming weeks. Aries season hits on March 20th, putting the solar spotlight on you and your unique brand of zodiac magic through the whole month ahead. Retrogrades are undoubtedly gunking up the vibes, but the back to back Venus and Mercury Kazimis during the first week of your season bring some much needed clarity to an otherwise tumultuous period. Spring has sprung, so celebrations are in order, but make sure you also give yourself some time to reflect on the retrogrades lessons, the joys of retrogrades, the lessons, and integrate some of what you're learning. Patience is key. These cosmic lessons may come in handy on March 29th when the powerful solar eclipse rises in your sign. The last eclipse that'll rock your region of the zodiac until 2032. You've undergone a supercharged period of growth, Aries, over the past 2 years, and this lunation serves as a final push toward embracing total authenticity and owning your presence in the world. Own your shit. I love that. Take up
Mm,
space. Take up space. That's one of my favorite phrases. Take up space because you fought for every inch of it. You fought for it.
yes.
The
Hold on to
follow
it.
Yes. The following day, one of the most exciting moments of the year arrives as numinous planet Neptune enters your sign for the first time since the late 1800s.
Wow.
This
It's a
deep
long
and
time.
yeah, this deep and intuitive planet will deepen your connection to all things mystical and intangible over the coming years. So prepare for a spiritual journey that'll shape the rest of your life.
Oh,
Heavy
babe.
stuff, Aries.
I know, I know. Okay, Taurus, your March horoscope says this month will be exhausting, but still rewarding. Your ruling planet Venus is going retrograde. Taurus, this month kicks off with your amorous ruling planet Venus stationing retrograde on March 1st. The effects of this backspin might be somewhat subtle for you, but trust that there are deep internal re-evaluations taking place when it comes to your relationships and your values. It'll be important to listen to your gut. The fun and fanciful vibe of Pisces season has you feeling more involved in your social life through the first few weeks of the month. But your Taurus horoscope for March 2025 will take you on just as many inward journeys as it will outward as ones.
Hmm.
So things kick off with your amorous ruling planet Venus stationing retrograde, as we said on March 1st. The effects of this backspin would be, again, subtle, but it'll be important to listen to your gut. Okay? So at the middle of the month, which is a meaningful time for pursuing your creative goals. So open your mind to inspiration. And the Saturn Casimi on March 12th can solidify your some community connections, giving you a more serious rapport with like-minded people who will support your visions. 2 days later, an exciting lunar eclipse in fellow Earth sign Virgo shines a light on your passions and challenges you to actually act on them. So stop waiting for the so called perfect moment to take a creative risk or chase
Hmm.
life's romance. The middle of the month is a meaningful time for pursuing your creative goals. So open your mind to inspiration. The Saturn Casimi on March 12th can solidify some community connections, giving you a more serious rapport with like minded people who will support your visions. And 2 days later, an exciting lunar eclipse in fellow Earth sign Virgo will shine a light on your passions and challenges you to actually act on them. Okay? On March
Hmm.
15th, Mercury retrograde begins in your restorative and relaxation focused 12th house. And this could make you feel a little out of sync with your intuition or generally brain foggy. So carve out your time to catch up on rest. The sun meets up with Mercury here on March 24th, just a few days after the spring equinox. And while this seasonal shift may be traditionally energizing, spending a little more time alone this week will give you a chance to process and integrate all the meaningful retrograde lessons that you're being taught. So during the final
Mhm.
days of the month, both Venus and Mercury retrogrades reverse back into your house of community, sending you into a reevaluation of your friendships or potentially posing challenges when it comes to communicating with a group or groups of people. If you require any teamwork to make your dream work, you'll have to make an extra concerted effort and you'll need to decide whether such a collaboration is really worth your time. The solar eclipse on
Hmm.
March 29th could be an exhausting one, but it's solidifying your innate connection to your intuition. Use this intense lunation as an excuse to slow down and recharge your batteries. You have earned it. Okay?
Yeah. So there's no joke about the March energies,
Yes.
okay? Everybody's going to have to-do lists. All right. So Gemini, your March horoscope says you're stepping into a major leadership role. You're leveling up in your career and community alike. Excuse me. So, Gemini, the sun lights up your ambitious 10th house for the first few weeks of the month, giving you more creative prowess and confidence that's sure to impress the right people at work. Between excitement in your career and some shakeups in your social life, your Gemini horoscope for March 2025 will have you fluttering around and handling all sorts of obligations from start to finish. The sun lights up your ambitious 10th house. Excuse me. Excuse me. For those first few weeks of the month, as we mentioned, giving you more creative prowess and confidence that's sure to impress not just those people at work, but the entire community that you're moving through. The lucky trine between the sun and motivating Mars in your money zone on March 7th gives you an advantage when it comes to any discussions about your pay rate or kicking off lucrative new projects. A few days later, a grounding and commitment oriented Saturn Cazimi in the same part of your chart will help you buckle down and get real about your professional goals. Show the world what you want to be what that you want to be taken seriously, and respect will follow. Your love planet Venus is retrograding in your friendship zone again beginning tomorrow, March 1st, and it'll link up with your intellectual ruler Mercury on March 11th. This brings some realizations about which of your social groups you feel aligned with and which you've grown out of. A theme that you'll continue pondering once Mercury retrograde starts on March
Mhm.
15th. Your career is a big focus right now, but the mid month lunar eclipse in critical Virgo temporarily shifts your focus onto your private life and emotional foundations. You can't run from your past no matter how hard you, no matter how much you distract yourself or how hard you try. Um, distracting yourself with work or whatever. So deal with whatever comes up with a realistic point of view. Okay. Running away,
Okay,
not an
now.
option. You'll feel the load lighten on your heart once Aries season starts on March 20th, and it's a good time to immerse yourself in springtime community events and social gatherings, especially during the clever and clear minded Mercury Kazemi on March 24th. Finally, the month wraps up with a solar eclipse in Aries on March 29th. You've been refining your ability to stand up as a leader amongst your peers over the past couple years, and this lunation puts your confidence to the test. Are you willing to stand up for what you believe is right, even if everyone around you can see can't see your vision yet? Find your
All right. Good
voice.
advice, right?
Right on.
All right. So,
Yeah,
Cancer,
yeah.
your
Big stuff.
March horoscope says an eclipse is giving your career a makeover. Show them who's boss. Okay. Cancer
Mm,
Venus retrograde kicks off in your ambitious 10th house on March 1st, following by intellectual Mercury's entry into the same area of your chart 2 days later. Are your professional relationships serving you? Now's a
mm,
time to start considering what you truly value in a career. Your career is about to undergo a makeover like never before, as your Cancer
mm.
horoscope for March 2025 is about to do a full blown spring cleaning on your upcoming path, clearing away the old and making place for the new. Venus retrograde kicks off in your ambitious 10th house again on March 1st, followed by that intellectual Mercury's entry into the same area of your chart 2 days later. That said, you'll also have your mind. Oh, wait. Now it's time to start considering what you truly value in a career. That said, you'll also have your mind on even larger scale as aspirations, as the sun in fellow water sign Pisces for the first few weeks of March gives you an open minded and knowledgeable, hungry approach to your future plans. You've got an added taste for adventure now, so you may be willing to take a risk and branch out of your beloved comfort zone more than a usual, more than usual, especially around March 7th, when the sun makes a lucky trine to motivating Mars in your sign. The Saturn Casimir, a few days later, gives you the resolve that you need to commit your higher reaching goals to use this week's energy to pursue your dreams. Be extra conscious about what you say and how you say it as mid month rolls around, as the lunar eclipse on March 14th is hitting your communication sector, bringing you new
Mm.
details to light and help put you through more intricate ideas into words. The following day, chatty Mercury goes retrograde, bringing the potential for misunderstandings at work or slow down on professional projects. So, kind of proceed with caution and kind of cogency, okay? Career matters come into even greater focus once the sun enters Aries on March 20th, kind of summoning your inner leader and giving you big boss energy. The retrogrades
Mm.
may be retrograding, but this week of Aries season is a good time to loosely map out some springtime work goals. You'll really be challenged to
Mm.
step into your power during the solar eclipse on March 29th. So don't second
Mm.
guess your decisions and show off your talents, please. It's there, it's a gift. Show it off.
Yes.
All right.
All right,
Yeah.
Cancer. Now, tarot
Yay.
time.
So of course, next week, just so you guys know, we will do some more of I think 4 or 5 more of the signs and go from there. Okay.
Yes.
Rhonda, Han,
Fabulous.
what are we pulling for the cards tonight?
With all this March big
I
energy,
know.
big boss energy, it's like, what? I'm looking at this saying, well, we're going to need to really be prepared since it's considered the most
Yeah,
life-changing month of
it's gonna be
2025,
transformative. It really is.
right? So if we're looking at this most life-changing month of 2025, I'm going to ask that we pull a card to what's the area of focus? What is the area that we need to be cautious about in this life-changing month? What's the area that we need to be cautious about? What do we need to be cautious about? Oops. And my card's a jumper, so I got to go with
Hey,
it.
I like this card, but yet at the same time, it's like, what are you gonna be cautious about? I'm like, ah,
I, this is like, I look at this, I'm like, what? So I have the World card.
oh dear goddess.
And so what is this telling me about caution? And this for me is interesting because the world card for me is that understanding of self-actualization. This is the completion phase. This is the I've arrived phase. The story has this is the last card of the major arcana. So I've arrived. I've completed whatever that story is and I've come to that place. And since this is a life-changing month for 2025, what it suggests to me is that something we've come full circle with a certain part of my story. And now I have to come to the terms of, and I'm going to use this language, blessing and releasing because something new is coming in. So this is a month to say, be cautious, be aware of, and be attentive to, be cautious of of that feeling of having completed all the
Hmm.
things. It suggests to me that I have to be attentive that I have actually completed all the full circle, that I've arrived, that I've actually completed all the work. Mm. Be attentive, not assume, be
Awesome.
prepared, go through, check.
Awesome, awesome. Okay. So I have the 9 of Pentacles, and just take a gander at this card.
Oh, love, love, love,
That's
love,
why I
love,
said
love.
I love it,
That's
but
my
at the
card for
same
the
time, it's
year.
the one, the cautionary card. So I'm just like, I love that card, and it says that I'm setting up all these things, stability and my finances and all of it. I'm kind of laying the foundation for it, but I'm trying to
Yes.
create what you call it, infrastructure. The
Mhm.
caution is infrastructure as well. Like, is it going to be done in time? Is it going to be done? Um, uh, is it going to be completed in time? That's the feeling. Actually, it's so funny. That's
Yeah.
been my everything is like, I feel like I'm in a rush, and at the
Mm.
same time, because
Mhm.
I feel
Mhm.
like I wish I had it set up already, and I don't. And
Gotcha.
yeah, so it's that cautionary kind of hits home for me, because it just
Mhm.
feels like
Mhm.
I this is what I want to do. I'm not quite there. I'm started it, but the full infrastructure of it is what is my cautionary. I don't have it all in place.
Yes. So
Yeah.
we being
Yes.
prepared.
So when I saw the
If we're
card, I
going
was like, oh crap.
Yeah, but,
I love the
it's
card,
if
but at the same
it
time, it's my cautionary tale.
yes. It makes us aware of the areas that we have to put extra
Yes.
work, and I'm being called out on the
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
Um, you know, can't start the new until we wrap up the old, and I gotta make certain I wrap up the old because this is changes are coming, and I gotta be
Right,
prepared for
right.
that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Right on. Well, there we
Yes, yes,
are.
yes.
That's our card for
And
this
don't forget to
week.
pull your card for you guys and see what comes up for you guys. Your
Yes.
cautionary tale kind of a thing. And
Yes.
next week,
What is the
our
area?
guest will be Emily Munez. So we can't wait to have her guest next week.
Yay!
And we wish
Yes.
to thank Byron Ballard for being with us here tonight. We had such a great conversation
So
with her.
nice.
It was really,
Yes.
really wonderful to have her here. Um, and Rhonda,
Absolutely. Please like, subscribe, and share. Please share with your friends. Come on the channel, with us in the chat room. Add your questions. We'd love to hear from you. If you're watching us on the playback, we still like to get some comments from you. Like our video, and yeah, that's it. We'll
we'll
see you
see you all
next
next
week.
week. Have a wonderful week. Oh, and blessings of the new moon, the Pisces new moon that we just had. Okay.
Yes,
I
we
hope you guys all
just
have a
came
wonderful
through
time.
it.
All righty.
And happy March
Yes.
1st.
Happy March 1st. Have a good night.
See you next week.